Greetings, Sir and Sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to a very late start to the Christmas special campaign. Now, sadly, this came out properly straight after I went to England. I have literally just got back around about 15 minutes ago, and I really want to play this. So this is the Christmas campaign. It's a limited edition, just like the Halloween one was, but this time we are going to complete it over the next few days. I'm going to keep on playing this today, or possibly tomorrow if I fall asleep, until we win. Now, I have been told this is actually a little bit easier than the Halloween campaign, so most likely we're just going to breeze through it, destroy everything in our path, and then maybe at the end we'll have a look at all the designs and have a mini tournament with all of the Christmas designs fighting each other to the death until one is crowned the Chris of Kringle, the King of Christmas. That's what I was trying to say, but I'm apparently quite tired. So, let's get straight into it, so we can crown a Chris. Yay, Chris. Anyone out there called Chris? You're the best. Let's make a campaign. New campaign, a Cold Loch Christmas. The people of the Onyx Watch have always been a bit reserved in their merriment. Usually, large amounts of spirits was required to bring them to laughter, and for much of the time they tirelessly worked to gain wealth and build the biggest things in Nita. All that changes during the Christmas season, for the Onyx Watch love Christmas. No one works, children play and sing, the elders tell stories, and presents are freely given. The Onyx Watch hold Christmas so dear because of their sacred tree, the largest tree in all of Nita. Centuries ago they discovered it on the Drylar Islands, where giant trees grew in the frigid winds. This tree was so awe-inspiring they relocated it onto an artificial island fortress, where it could be properly cared for and protected. The sacred tree has been a popular tourist destination ever since. That is, till now. Now the tree has been corrupted by what some call magic and some call alien science. And I will call alien magic. The sacred tree is alive now and bristling with weapons. And what makes matters worse is that everything Christmas related is also appearing in the area, fully mechanized and bent on destruction. You, the owner and operator of an oil refinery, happen to be the only person in the area able to meet the threat and put a stop to it, push through the corrupted Christmas abominations, and destroy the sacred tree before it ruins Christmas forever. And if you are playing this after Christmas, well, you're a bit late, but good luck anyway. So, let's just get straight into it then. Ooh. Just basic difficulty settings, or can we customize it? So that's easy. Okay, I see. Wow, easy is really easy. Look at that. Look at those stats. That would be silly. So medium is this, hard is that. Okay, I don't like messing with the difficulty modifier. I find it breaks the game. But what I will do is put it on very hard and put the difficulty modifier nice and regular, so like that. So the enemy are increasing in number twice as fast as usual. We don't get all that much resource from the enemy, but it should be easy enough. Shall I centralize the material? I will centralize material purely because it makes the game run so much faster. It's really not difficult now to make transport vehicles which just lag behind your main force, so it's not really decreasing the difficulty, it's just going to make things far, far quicker. I think that's fair enough, and this way, because we'll be attacked so regularly, we can build something absolutely horrifically effective and just butcher the Christmas season. We're not going into this with balance in mind. We're going into this because we want to burn down Christmas trees. begin. Trying to load this campaign crashed the game 4 times, but here we are finally in the campaign with a little bit more text to read. Born the child of a lesser noble, you took what little of the family fortune and bought a oil refinery that services the frigid east of the Onyx Watch territories. Now, you are in a position to be the only one able to respond fast enough to save Christmas. Sensors are not needed, just like the Halloween special, and there are all the lovely people who made the design. So well done to all of you, especially you, Crazy Ninja 47. I'm sure you made the bestest designs, but not you. Okay, so pause time. What do we have here? We have Merry freaking Christmas. Okay, it's very Christmassy indeed. We have lots of storage, apparently. Although we are actually using centralized, so not actually needed, but at least it looks pretty. We have 2 cram cannons, which seem basic explosive. We have a Christmas tree, okay. We do have some detection, which is a little bit weird, so I assume it's off in the game config. Yeah, okay, it's off in the game config. We have all of our refineries in the middle. We are running off fuel, and we have a lot of it, so we could easily upgrade the engines and possibly use lasers. Actually, I might do that if we're going to be making so much fuel. Although saying that, we could go with a steam engine, then have a really nasty laser attached to that. Not too sure just yet. Let's make sure the settings have kept. The last time I did this, the settings reset. 12001 and centralized. Okay, where am I currently? So, we need to get to work defending ourselves, since the enemy are going to spawn incredibly quickly against us. Not sure what I'm going to do just yet. I may actually destroy all of this beautiful fuel refinery and replace it with a huge steam engine. I think that's what I'm going to do. So converting it into a steam engine, the steam engine will be more efficient, somewhat, at least more space efficient, then we can build a laser. Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea why I've built it like this, but here we are, a very compact little steam engine. We do still have the power coming from the fuel, but this way we also have this. And this will go like so, I believe. There we are, very rapidly we are creating energy, and I've decided to go down the route of energy because if we build any separate vehicles, we can easily then feed the energy to them and make them defending drones, which would be very, very interesting indeed, if nothing else. So next then, we need battery storage, which I'm going to just put here, because it seems like this will probably be the easiest place to defend, hence why I'm building the steam engine here. There we are. Currently we're on basically minimum burn rate and we're already making quite a lot of power, so that's all well and good. Then we can add ourselves some electric engines and this will be our nice basic setup, all nice and sorted. Yes, yes, good, power is increasing rapidly. I am tempted to turn off the fuel completely. It's kind of sad, but I've got to do it, I'm sorry. Can I just turn these off? Oh. You know, I feel like we should do that just to keep at least some of the aesthetic. Okay, these two are going to turn off. I'm going to break some of these though, like so. I'm going to keep all the fuel storage because why not? And now we are running out of fuel. That's fine because the last thing I'm going to do is turn off the regular engine, which is you. How can I turn you off? Ah, there we are. Ding! And it's off. So now we're currently being powered only by these engines here. All well is good, and we are still producing power. Good, okay, so that is seemingly more material efficient, which is nice. So next then, we need some more weaponry. Shall we go with cram cannons, or shall we go with lasers? Now with lasers, there is a somewhat okay prefab. This one here, the Annihilator, but I tend not to like using this one as it is quite fuel hungry, quite power hungry, with minimal results, so shall I use this or not? Probably not. What we're going to do though is use a couple of prefabs and we're going to make a couple of berthas. This way we have a little bit of protection. Now what I really need to do is wall up one segment so we have a segment to face the enemy. So maybe what we should do is remove this turret here. I'm very sorry sir, but you are being removed. Like so. And then armor up here. Then on the top of the armoured up wall, we can start adding weapons and weapons poking through and all that good stuff, and that should keep all of this pretty safe. But first, we need some more materials, so it's just time to wait. Okay, so quickly, I've done a little bit of work with the steam boiler. So what I've done with this one, this control block, is we've set the boiler burn rate to 0.1 if we are above 90% battery power. The other one says that if we go below 90%, we turn it back up to maximum power. This way, when we're not fighting, if we end up using things like shields or lasers during combat, we're not going to be burning that much material out of combat when that isn't applicable. But when we're in combat and we are using those things, we'll just burn all the material we have, because honestly, making sure we win is the main goal here. Okay, let's continue. Okay, I've decided what our first weapon is going to be. We're going to quickly, at least as quickly as possible, make ourselves a little mini vehicle over here, which is going to only have batteries and, most importantly, a particle cannon, because this is going to be a sub-vehicle, which is going to be on top of the main building. This way we can make a very, very rapid turning turret, which can be repaired with repair tentacles. Also, it will kind of look like a floating eye, which is kinda cool. So, I'm going to have a single pipe setup, because I think I'm going to go... Actually, no, I'm going to go with a multi-pipe setup, and we're going to go with piercing. That way, we hit all around the target we're firing at, go through that area, and thus do a lot of damage. Very rarely do you need to use a single pipe when you're using piercing, unless you don't have much power to spare. And we can increase our power over and over again, because of course, we are on centralized resource, which means it's not particularly hard to get the resource back to base, which means we can expand our steam engine as time goes on. Of course, with the ramp-up time, I'm still not sure if those control blocks are going to be any good, but I can assume they are. Merry Christmas from the Depths dev team. Please enjoy your Christmas present, which is on its way to you now. Please be careful not to break it. Okay, they've sent an enemy a little bit early. Okay, that's their present to us, because they're just lovely, kind, and generous people, I'm sure. I'm thinking that's probably going to be something rather bad. Although it is all on its own, so... what would they send that small to kill us? I mean, it looks small from here. I'll take a quick look in a second, trying to get this in here. I really do hate building these things. It's like the worst type of Tetris. I wish it was just symmetrical, that's all. I just wish I could do mirror mode. It's looking okay right now. Now that wooden block represents where the local weapon controller I want to be, because I want that space there to be used up for that, which is what's making this so very awkward. I'll just keep on building then until something wishes to try to kill me. You know, the usual. Okay, apparently the battle is going to start in a few seconds, and I've just remembered I've taken off the turret from our main vehicle. Face to the side, we can quickly add a prefab turret like the Bertha cram cannon, if we have to. Just the platform. Pause, let's see what we're facing. First of all, let's turn off the AI.
Turning off.
Did I face the correct way? Yes, I did. Okay, it's actually present. I'm still thinking nukes. I'm thinking like the... what's it called? The Nuco Lantern from the Halloween special. It's RTGs. What? Okay, just have nukes. Oh, it's actually a gift. Like, an actual gift. Like, they're sending this to us because it's basically made out of resource. Oh, there's a question then. If we set off the nukes by shooting it, does that count as them killing themselves? Therefore, we didn't kill them, therefore we don't get the resource. I mean, either way, we want to capture this thing, because each one of these RTGs, I think, is worth 10,000. And as you can see, there's a lot of RTGs. It doesn't seem like it can fight back. Now, one thing I do want to check, is there a control block? Because control blocks would indicate it can set itself off. Doesn't look like it. So, I guess I just swim out to it and claim it as my own. Just don't shoot it. Whatever I do, don't shoot it. Also, I do want to quickly check something. I knew that would be inaccurate. There's a little tip. If you're ever building a weapon, any type of cannon, and you feel like it shoots a bit early when it's trying to fire at a target, always set the aim, the required accuracy, down to 0.5. It can sometimes default to just 5. And we are in. Say hello to the mainframe. Okay, good. It didn't quite reach our base. So I guess we just scrap this now. Sure. Maybe shouldn't have scrapped it while it was still spawned in. That didn't damage the base, did it? That must have been so close to blowing up my platform. Either way, though, did I get a resource from that then? I should have. Oh, 91,000 resource, in fact. Well, that's pretty darn beautiful. Okay, well, with that amount of resource, we can be a little bit more lavish with our weaponry. I don't know when the enemy are going to attack, though, so we need to be quick. Perhaps I should use sub-objects. If I use an... Ooh. I know what I've got a sub-object of. This is the Bloodletter. Of course, this is just the Bloodletter's weapon, but this is the Bloodletter nonetheless. We could very easily use this if we do need something quick. I've actually got quite a few weapons on our sub-objects at this point. I don't really want to use them, but if we really run out of time, we can. For now, though, back to building the particle cannon. And now we have more materials, we can make this a bit bigger, because I've got less of a worry about burning through all of my materials to make this thing run. We could build a new Skarbrand. We could build a mech on top of this thing, rather than just this turret. What if I spawn in Skarbrand? Oh, there's an idea. What if I spawn in Skarbrand, remove the advanced cannon from the inside, and then place a particle cannon where the advanced cannon was? I will definitely have enough space for a lot of battery space as well. Yes, that is exactly what I'm going to do. For a bit of variety, I am going to replace the weapon, but we are bringing in the Scar turret. Also, did they have my old... Is that my save from my regular campaign? That's really weird and from quite some time ago. I haven't... Oh, maybe that's the Halloween one. Maybe that's the Halloween one. I don't know. Either way, load vehicle, Scar turret. We may need to add some repair tentacles to get that thing up and running. Well, Skarbrand, say goodbye to your weapons. The weapons which have shown such amazing effectiveness against the lightning hoods are now being stripped and removed. And then, of course, a lot of removal from the inside, which is honestly mostly these two weapons. Then we can replace these arm segments with two particle cannons, both set to pierce, and that will make a very, very nasty turret indeed. Then we really do need to make the Skarbrand a little bit more festive. Well, that's kind of sad, but there we are, a completely hollowed out version of the Skarbrand. And of course, because we don't have a volume limit, we can actually extend this chest cavity a little bit lower, so it looks a little bit thinner down here, where it's going to connect to the base. We could also try to add a Santa hat. I have no idea how on earth I would add a Santa hat to this thing. But you know what? We're gonna try. We're going to try, and most likely horribly fail. There. It's a really convincing Santa hat that in no way looks utterly dreadful. Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. I wonder if we can make this perhaps a little bit lighter. We could change the darker colours into... No, what we could do is change the red into white and then the rest into red. Trying to think how a Santa outfit would look. Okay, yeah, so red should be the main colour. So I think that is this one we've been using for the main on this one. Well, about to find out. Oh my god, that worked so well. It almost did it in one fell swoop. Okay then, the second colour, I'm not sure if we used main or we just used the 0. We may have just used the 0. We did. Santa Skarbrand is coming to town. Okay then, sure. Seems reasonable. Oh god. What would you like for Christmas? Atomic death. Okay, coming right up, Timmy. Now, the problem with particle cannons is that they really like to face directly towards the target. So I think we're going to have a bit of a chest laser, at least with the particle cannon, and then maybe we can add giant cram cannons on the side, or something else, I don't really know. But either way, building this into here would probably be the best idea. If we build it on the arms, they're never going to be directly facing what they're trying to fire, thus they're going to be more inaccurate unless we sacrifice power to make them more accurate at certain angles. But I would much rather them just be accurate by default. That would be a lot better. More damage, more power, more lasery particle cannery goodness. Cannery. That's a word now. Actually it is, but not what I was aiming for. Do I need to build a little bit lower so I can build that in? Is that the problem here? Yes, it was. Okay. If I build there, we can have the lasers coming off, and yeah, we can hide that. Okay. So, Santa now has a chest laser. I know, particle cannon's technically not lasers because it's a particle and all that good stuff, but still, you get the general gist of things. Santa has a particle cannon in his chest instead of a heart. This is one weird build. So this is what Santa looks like as Skarbrand in the daytime. Need to work on where the red is a little bit, but other than that, it doesn't actually look that bad. I mean, it doesn't look good, but it doesn't look utterly abysmal straight away. Let's add some trim around here, like a belt. To be fair, doing this now won't really work out too well until we've added all of the other weapons, because I'm not quite sure where all the metal's going to go at the very end. But for now, we can pretend that's normal. Also, one of these whites isn't quite as bright as the other. There we are. Nice and bright. For all the kids. There we are. Scar Santa is now draining from our base, therefore the weapon is actually now functional. Nice, simple, straightforward. It should work. Should. And look, I can still control the head. Where am I currently inside of the... Oh dear lord, I'm kind of everywhere. Fire! And instantly charge up. Good, of course, because we have double the energy reserve, both on the Skarbrand and on the base. Fire again. Okay. First weapon, online, so now we have one weapon against the enemy, so I think we should go with the advanced cannon option, but how should we attach advanced cannons? We don't actually have that much space left inside of the Skarbrand, as you can see here. Maybe I should reinstall the missile systems. That's a nice simple way of doing it, so we add beautiful flary missiles. Still no enemies just yet. Kind of surprising. Perhaps it gives you a bit of a grace period to begin with. Yeah, the missile system would be very easy to set up, so I think that would probably be the best idea. I was going to go for 5 pipes, but instead we have gone for 4, and we have 91 length on each. So, let's see, how much power are we going to need? Currently, with all the stats nice and basic, we are going to be draining 1,820 per shot. This does 4,550 damage to a decent range, and the damage slowly fades out. I could probably overclock that. There is no way we can't supply that much power. Although saying that, that's every 1 second. Now we do want this weapon to be reliable, as in killing enemies at a decent rate, so having it at 10 seconds might make us vulnerable against swarm targets. Although this won't be the only weapon it has, of course, so... maybe we should just put it straight up to 10, have it full power, there we are, loads of damage, 45,000 damage each, at a massive range, that way we can just hit the target and hopefully one-shot against larger opponents. Then of course we can overclock if necessary. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with. Yeah, okay, let's go for 10 seconds, all of that stats. We're still going with piercing, so next then we need to add the batteries, then we can figure out the next weapon. I've actually got a bit of an idea. Perhaps we could use advanced cannons with the visible tracers, but then have a rainbow gun essentially. Each visible tracer being loaded has a different colour. We can do this by having several ammunition customizers, and then each of the inputs into the weapon is linked to a different ammunition customizer, so we shoot different colours like little stars at the enemy. Or we could of course add a small swarm missile system, which would be good against the smaller targets, and that could have flares all over it, so it looks like we're shooting yellow stars at the enemy. Not really too sure just yet. Either way though, we need to add some batteries and get this sorted out. 3, 2, 1, Christmas missiles! And of course, if there was actually a target in front of us, they'd now be cruising towards them to destroy them. Well, it's very pretty if nothing else. So, that worked out pretty well. So the missiles have been reinstated. Sadly, there wasn't quite enough space to put them back as they were, but these rather glorious looking flares should do the job pretty nicely. Now, we did just take a bit of damage. I think that was my fault. Yeah, I just meleeed. Whoops-a-daisy. I shouldn't have done that. That was my mistake. I hurt my own Skarbrand. So there we are. We have missiles and we have the Doom laser, which is actually a Doom particle cannon, but it doesn't sound quite as good. What do we do next then? I don't know if we're going to have space for that advanced cannon, but I definitely want to add arms to this thing. So what should I do for arms? I'm not too sure. To those who are sick of the bloodletter cannon, I do apologise, but please note I will be adding more variants as we create new vehicles for the fleet, as of course I will be adding ships especially for this campaign. So this shouldn't be able to turn all the way left or all the way right. This way I don't have to add firing restrictions. Perfect. So as we add weapons to the back section here, there's no chance the bloodletter will turn around, clip it, and then pretty much destroy absolutely everything, which tends to be a pretty good thing. So next, we need to add ourselves some ammo customizers, at least 2 of them. So if we add 2, where are you? Ammo controller, we could easily make it so that we have red and white. But I guess red, white, and green would be the most Christmassy colours, so that's the 3 colours I will go for. I haven't really done this before, so I may end up messing this up. Either way, so 1, 2, just for now. Put the mirror mode between them, because I'm lazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry about that, Mr. Door. And then, let's just put in a visible tracer, just so I can mess around with it. So excellent, we can add all the colours we want. So we want a pretty fast version. So instead of the normal version, I'm going to go... We could go with flak, just to be fun. For those who don't know, the bloodletter fires so fast, even flak warheads tend to go straight through targets. We could go with flak, that way we'd have lovely large explosions absolutely everywhere. Less effective, but more fun. Of course, then we could just go with regular high explosive, but we'd need more of them to get the same explosion radius, so I think we will go with flak. A little bit silly, I admit, but we're trying to be silly in this campaign, so flak, 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 flak. The end will be U, and then we do of course need an inertial fuse, which is somewhere, there we are, inertial fuse set to minimum, and then we add the visible tracer. Now this one is going to be red. Is there only one red? No, there's 2 reds, but they both look the same. That's a little bit darker than I wanted, but that's fine. Okay, so what's the explosion radius? At least 10 and I'll be happy. Explosion radius is currently 11. It's still weak. That is really weak. Wow, these are going to be some weak shells. But they are going to be fired at 1000 RPM, so it should be okay. In fact, we can increase that because we are on a stable vehicle. In fact, we're on a building. It's not a building, is it? It's a fortress, which means recoil isn't a problem. So I'm going to make the next few, and then I'll be right back to test out the multicoloured shells of the Christmas bloodletter. This may be very silly, but I've decided we're going to make these barrels a little bit smaller. I want less accuracy, so the flares go pretty much everywhere. I want prettiness from the bloodletter for once. At some stage, I apparently moved the entire fortress down. Rather than going to the control station and thus moving it back up, I'm doing the lazy thing, and putting the oil drills above the water. Time to test fire the confetti cannon! Okay, that actually is coming out way better than I expected. I haven't allowed it to fully reload yet, so that's why it's constantly stopping, but even so... There we are, the festive version of the bloodletter, the confetti cannon, the confetti letter. Yep, that's pretty much that. So we have the Christmas Skarbrand, the Santa Skarbrand, and the confetti cannon, which I will try to make look a little bit prettier for the next episode. But with that, I'm afraid I am all out of time for today's episode. If you have enjoyed, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. In the next episode, we'll make things look a bit prettier, and we'll probably be under attack, so I do need to add a few more defences. Although this is fun, those flak warheads are going to do so very little. Thank you for watching, and from Santa Skarbrand, goodbye.